Alright guys, and welcome back again to another part of the tank build. Now, concluding from where I left off from attempting the Zimmerit in the last one, which was a little bit of a success and also a failure at the same time, trying to figure out methods that work for me. Now, a guy in the comments did mention a while back to use no more nails, which I do have, and I'd completely forgot about that. My head's been that racked into everything. It's like a million mile an hour. I don't know if I'm getting one step ahead of myself. So he's commented back after watching the previous video on the Zimmerit and suggested the no more nails again. So now it's just figuring out roughly how long it takes to go off. Now it says it's an instant grab and it's no more nails. I have used this stuff to hang shelves in the past and it is strong. But the super glues are giving me like very little to next to no time whatsoever to apply it before it's set. Now I don't think there is a correct way or a wrong way of what you apply the glue on first, whether you apply the glue to your plastic or the back of your resin. I would presume that's more your personal choice or preference. Realistically, the only way I'm going to get this done is just by doing it. It's probably just me, being an arse about it, just trying to get it all perfect. But as some people say in the comments, it's a tank. They were beat up in battles and stuff. I suppose there is no right way or wrong way. So I'm going to spread some normal nails on here. I've cleaned up all the backside of the resin, so the Zimmerit's now facing down, and I'm just going to apply some normal nails, spread this around, get it where I want it, and then hopefully if it dries and goes off, I will then seal it in with the super glue around the edges. I don't want too much because it's quite thick. Okay, so it's spreading kind of nice. Now I've got a translucent one which does dry clear. So it applies white and dries clear. But I'm able to sand it all afterwards. Any excess or anything like that once it's all set. So there's nothing stopping me cleaning up the edges and things. Right. Now then, here we go. And you can slide it around, which is good. Now if I kind of squeeze just to one side of it maybe, and get all the excess out of one side. And I'm not getting very much seepage, which is also good. So that's that half applied. I feel better for just doing it rather than messing about with things, trying to find a way of doing it. It definitely is just easier just to get on and do. There is a slight bit in the edge there, so I can go in with a little cocktail stick or something, run some super glue into that, get that to bond. I'm just going to leave that now for, I don't know, before I mess about trying to do the other side, because I don't want to knock that and disrupt it out of place or anything. I suppose it's not only finding a solution for me but also yourselves, and there isn't much out there in regards to Zimmerit from ATAK on YouTube. So far I am actually happy with the no more nails result. It seems to be taking quite alright, but no more nails does take a while to go off, so It's been about 24 hours since I applied this bit of Zimmerit on the side of the turret there. I've since just cleaned up all the other stuff, got all that washed. That's just been hanging to dry. In the meantime as well, I've been scrolling Google, finding all tank numbers, looking at the different wars that these tanks were in, watching all kinds of documentaries on Amazon and Tank Talk and stuff on YouTube. I've just been lost in a world of King Tiger tanks. So this morning when I awoke, it did peel. But it was stuck there, but it peeled. So I have had to seal it in via the edges. Now that isn't really what I wanted. I wanted it completely sealed 100%. Just then I know it's sealed. I'm finicky like that, it's just OCD stuff. Upon going through the tanks again and looking at the tank that I originally wanted to do, it has like a knight or something, a marking with like a guy on a horse, and it says to leave a square out because they didn't put Zimmerit where the emblem was. Luckily I applied this with the no more nails and sealed the edges, because it means I can cut a square out should I still wish to do that with ease. I am going to do the same on that side. I'm just going to no more nails it, apply the Zimmerit and seal it via the edges with some CA glue, and then should I wish to do a tank where it requires no Zimmerit for the emblem, then that's not going to be too much of an headache to get that back out of there. That's my plan for the upper part. I am sticking with the no more nails, so cheers to whoever recommended that, because it's turned out a perfect solution for tweaking should I need to in the near future. The sides of the upper part of the hull, I am going to be applying the Zimmerit, basically the long boring way. I'm just going to apply a bit and do it as I did with the front, glue a little bit more down, run the glue brush and then put it down just ever so slowly, but making sure I'm getting full coverage with the CA glue, and then I can clean all the edges up after if there's any excess and stuff like that. So it's going to take longer, but at least I know my Zimmerit is 100% stuck on there. Yeah, if there is any information that I can give to anyone so far from building this that you could take away, is do a hell of a lot of research before you actually start building the tank. Right, Zimmerit. So yeah, for this one, literally the same way I did it on the other side. Now this isn't my go-to choice, but it has turned out to be a good choice in respect of should I need to carve stuff out. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Gorilla Glue method, but for this it is just perfect. So that is the turret. That's one side dried and completed. And I'll just do the same for that, and I'll give it like 24 hours. Back again after approximately another 24 hours. Really don't want to rush this Zimmerit. I just want to make sure it's all sticking. Now, I am actually happy with the turret and how that's turned out. So I'm actually like real happy with the no more nails method, and then sealing the edges with the super glue. I have actually gone and cracked on and done all the little parts like round the front of the turret. and I've done the rear of the turret. Now they didn't give me Zimmerit to like fill, if you will. It's left gaps. I'll be able to fill those in and put a bit of filler in there and make that match the best I can, so that's not the end of the world. But I'm guessing it's for where that sits, but it leaves a little gap there and a small gap there and just a couple on the edges, so it really is neither here nor there. The actual hull, just remove that and don't lose that. I have gone ahead and done one side, and that is all stuck down solid, and I just used the Gorilla Glue and got it as close to the edges as possible, and then just run some fine super glue in the edges just to stick those down afterwards. So I do have this one remaining panel, which I will go ahead and show you on that one how I did it. So while I was letting the Zimmerit go off and stuff like that, the adhesives underneath, I took the spare tracks and I've started to try and cut them out or make them more hollow looking, if you will. And I have a few other spare ones, because I've noticed on a lot of the images when I've been looking, they're not all complete tracks if they've got any. My only issue with not having any spare bits of track on the sides of the turret is where they mount, and I noticed they're all on like little mounting hooks, and had I had known this before, I could have sanded off what I didn't want and fill them to smooth it and use something for little hooks, or make something scale looking to put in there to just like hang them on. I am going to have to go with the tracks just to hide the mounting points, but I am going to try and like halve some and stuff, so it's just like sections of them. Started putting the little man together also, the commander, the chief, whoever he is, you guys might know. I found that to be probably the hardest part of the build so far, believe it or not. And also because I'm now unsure on what tank I'm doing, although it will have to be a tank that was issued with Zimmerit. But I originally went for the tank 132, which has a different mantlet. Look at me, I know the terms and stuff now, I'm learning a lot. But yeah, it had a different mantlet to, was it tank number 204, which is my alternative? Yeah, tank 204, which has a slightly different mantlet. I've got those back out, and then as I learn what tank I do want to do, I might need to swap the mantlet out. I'm not going to stick that on there or anything, or do anything with that just as of yet. And then in the next one, could possibly look at starting getting the surface primers down. I do have my N-Long, which I've stripped and cleaned all that up, so I'm going to use that as a practice tank for painting and doing the weathering. I'm learning all sorts with weathering, stuff that I'd never even look at when doing trains. They used to only be engaged, little end-to-end like fiddle yard on the end and a little shunting yard. But the weathering was so minute, it wasn't as detailed as what it would be on this larger scale tank. So I'm learning all things like chipping the paint and ways to do that. And it's all fascinating. Like it's opened up a whole new world of weathering to me. And I don't just want to get this tank and basically have this as my practice. The initial paint and everything, I'll have no problem doing. I have no problem painting. However, when it comes to the fine detailing of the weathering, I would like to have a go on my N-Long rather than this, and get my technique right and get the weathering the best that I can to my ability. And then I can transfer what I've learned on there and then put it into this tank. And I'm going to be working from the front to show you this one, just so I can align that up to that Zimmerit there. Now there is like a recess at the front and the rear, So I do put a little bit extra in there just to try and fill that a bit. Now it is gloopy and messy, but as long as you take your time and you're careful with it, then you're not really going to make a mess. So I am just going a little bit at a time. By using a small amount, I get time just to line it up to where I want it. So that is basically fixed into position now, and all I have to do is just carefully peel that back and run my glue brush under there, a little bit at a time, and put it back down. Let's give that another few seconds to set. So yeah, it is kind of a time consuming way, but everything all clean up after, all the excess, when I come to like prep it for paint anyway. But I am trying to keep as much from the edge and keep it more to the inside, and should I need to top in the edge, then I can do that later. The two sheets didn't line up as well on the other side. And there we are. With the exception of this, which I'm still working with at the minute, I say the Zimmerit is virtually done. I say I just need to trim a little bit off the edges around the insides, just so as that it sits over everything, and like these edges, just so as that I can get it down these little crevices and get it stuck in there. And I'll basically do the same thing. I'll paint on the Gorilla Glue, and then with some tweezers and stuff just carefully put it into place, and then run a brush all over. So for the next one, I could maybe do some practicing with the airbrush on the Henlong and do a video of that, and then maybe some of you guys could drop me some pointers on what to do, where and when and what colours and things. Now I am colourblind, believe it or not. It's originally why I wanted to go for like a desert camo, but I didn't realise in the whole world of tanks there were all the variety. I just always liked the colours. So it's opened up a new world to me, which I'm really, really happy about, because it's, I don't know, a lot of the stuff, it's eye-opening. The level of sacrifice that World War II soldiers actually made, yeah, never fully understood the full concept of it, and powerful stuff, really is. And the model building side and all the research that goes into actually building one of these is just, it's phenomenal. And some of you guys builds out there, and some of the pictures that I've seen are, wow, absolute kudos to you guys. So I'd just like to do the best I can for this one, and now I've applied the Zimmerit and stuff like that, I'm kind of left working with the model with the Zimmerit. So we'll find something we can work with a paint scheme for it. But yeah, we'll find something that I'm going to do. Again, I thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it, and your feedback's amazing. So until the next one, guys, stay safe. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I shall catch you next Tuesday. Ciao for now, guys.